Alright guys, so here's the review of the Aquatico Horizon Hawk GMT. So, right off the bat, really cool name, and it's actually a really interesting watch as well. But before we get into that, I'll quickly show you the packaging, in case you haven't seen an Aquatico before. So, got the branding on there, it is actually a wooden box, although it is only fairly light and cheap wood, but it's a nice little touch either way. And you actually get another strap in here as well. So, this is pretty nice. I do like the hardware on this. It's not actually bronze, but it is nice that it's bronze coloured to match the watch. Otherwise, it's a nice strap, nothing too special, pretty much what you'd expect. So we'll get all this out of the way now and get back to the watch. And here it is. So, as I said earlier, there's some interesting stuff going on with this one. So, it's a pilot style watch, but it is also GMT, and it is also bronze. And on top of that, it's actually limited edition as well, which we'll get into as we get into the review. There's also quite a few different dial options, so if you check out the link in the description, you can see all the different ones there as well. But before we go any further, let's go over the dimensions. So we've got a diameter of 43mm, thickness of 13.1, lug width of 22, then the all important lug to lug is coming in at just a smidge over 50 of 50.2. Then when it comes to the weight on this supplied leather strap, it's coming in at 91 grams. So let's take a closer look at that now. Starting with the hardware. So this is actually bronze, and we've got the branding on there of the Aquatico. Nicely done, as is the stitching on the leather strap as well. And it's a really nice, soft, supple strap. No breaking period needed at all. Then moving on to the case back, you can see we've got that Aquatico branded custom rotor there. Just a nice little touch. And obviously this is the NH34. And it says on there we've got sapphire, so it is actually sapphire front and back, which is good. Not always a given, sometimes brands will use mineral crystal on the back, but that's not the case with this one. And then we've also got 300 meter water resistance on this, which is really surprising. Now moving on to the head of the watch, you can see we've got that really prominent onion style crown, and it is really nicely done. We've even got that logo in there too. So the case is fully brushed, apart from that polished chamfer detail just running around the edge of the bezel. And then we've got these numbers here. So this is actually limited edition, as I said, so this is number 3 of 99. So if you're interested in picking one of these up, don't hang around too long because they might all be gone. But now let's take a look at the dial. So the reason I went for this, you'll probably see later on. It's a fully printed dial, nothing applied. Then when it comes to the GMT function, that's in that inner black ring, which is why we've got that fairly short GMT hand. And then we've got that matching red on the outside of that, and the second hand as well. Then we've got that date window at the 3 o'clock. Fairly nicely integrated, but again, as always, I always say this, I'd personally prefer to see it down at the 6 just for symmetry. And then the only other thing on the dial is that printed minute track around the outside. As for the hands, we've got a nice textured finish on that, again matching the bronze on the case. It's a really nice overall cohesive design, I think, which is part of the reason why I went for this white version. I think it just distracts a little bit less than some of the other colours, because it's like a weird two-tone they've got going on with them. And the other reason I chose this white dial version is the fact that we've got a fully loomed dial. So I'll show you that now. And as you can see, it is really impressive looking. So we've got loom absolutely everywhere, fully loomed dial, but we've also got plenty of loom on those hands as well, including that GMT hand and the second hand. So the only place we haven't got a loom is that date window and that 24-hour ring. And it's BGW9, so it's actually pretty impressive. The fully loomed dial lasts a pretty good amount of time, there's no patchiness at all either, so it's actually pretty usable. So you already know it's got an NH34, but I'll quickly show you that in action. So as you can imagine, unscrewing the crown isn't an issue at all. Really big, nice grippy crown. So if we pop it out to the first position, and then we can change the date, then pull it out to the second position, second hand stops, you got hacking, and then that GMT hand will move with those hands as well. Oh, I forgot to show you the movement of the actual GMT hand on its own. First position again, and then if we turn it the opposite direction, you will be able to move that independently. And then obviously we can hand wind it as well. All works, no problems. And then, again, because it's a nice grippy crown, screwing it back down isn't a problem either. It's really nice to use, really satisfying. So I definitely think there's a lot going for this watch. Obviously it's not perfect, because no watch is, but if you're interested in picking one up, you probably want to know what it's like on wrist. So I'll show you that now, and then we'll also go over the pros and cons. And here it is on my 7-inch wrist. So it does wear really nicely. I do like that we've got the matching bronze hardware there as well, and that really nice soft strap as well. I think it's right on the limit of what I'd wear though, in terms of that lug to lug, because it is a touch over 50. 50 is normally the limit, I say, for my 7-inch wrist, but they do curve down a little bit, so I think it just about works. Anything smaller than a 7-inch wrist, I definitely wouldn't be recommending this one though. This is one for the bigger guys. So this is one of my slight issues I have with this watch. I personally would have preferred to have seen it as a 42mm, just so it'd wear a little bit more comfortably on my wrist, and it'd also be able to fit more wrist sizes as well. But I imagine if you're a bigger guy, you probably appreciate this bigger size watch. It's really legible though, as you'd expect with the size, and obviously with this being the black and white version. And with that fully loomed dial, that's also the case at night as well. The dial does eventually fade before the hands, but it is good usable loom though. I really like the bronze, and obviously if you've got this far into the video, you probably do too. We've got the rock solid NH34 movement, that surprising 300m water resistance. Considering this isn't a diver, I wasn't expecting it to be that high. And again, this is another slight issue I have. Personally, I would have preferred if they just reduce that water resistance a bit and get the case a little bit thinner. And as I said earlier, the only other thing I would change on that dial is just put the date down at the 6 instead of the 3. Overall though, I think it's a really good package. And obviously the fact that it's limited edition just makes it even better, I think. It's going to be something that not everyone's going to have, because it's pretty limited numbers. So if you're interested in picking one up, link is down in the description. That is an affiliate link, does help support the channel, but you don't pay any extra. But that's it for this one guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.